U.S. Congressman Scott Perry has raised serious concerns that funds from USAID may be inadvertently supporting terrorist organizations like Boko Haram in Nigeria. This allegation comes amidst ongoing efforts by the U.S. to assist Nigeria in combating insurgency, including a $5 million contribution to a multinational task force aimed at countering Boko Haram. However, investigations have now revealed that Boko Haram often evades international financial tracking by using human couriers and local funding sources, making it challenging to ensure that aid funds are not misappropriated. The U.S. government has previously expressed difficulties in monitoring Boko Haram finances due to their reliance on cash transactions and limited use of formal banking systems. These revelations underscore the complexities involved in providing foreign aid to regions plagued by insurgency and highlight the need for stringent oversight mechanisms to prevent the diversion of aid funds to terrorist activities. But with events of past days, there are implications. Or what do these implications mean in the fight against insurgency war in Nigeria? Tonight, let me remind you, for those of you who missed out on the program on Friday, let me remind you of what that congressman, the U.S. lawmaker, said about USAID, the funding, and how it also affects Nigeria and Boko Haram activities. These allegations are heavy. Take a listen to him.
We spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan. I don't know what we think we're going to change in Afghanistan. We lost 22,000, lost or wounded 22,500 Americans in Afghanistan over the course of our term there in the war, spending over $2 trillion. We're just going to keep on spending because somehow we think it's going to get better. And if you're wondering who's in charge of Afghanistan getting the money, and that money I just mentioned, the $697 million is on top of, and is in addition to the weekly to every 10-day shipments in cash of $40 to $80 million. Afghanistan is ruled by folks named Sarayuddin Haqqani. Haqqani network mean anything to anybody in the room? How about Abdullah bin Laden? Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding. If you think that the program under Operation Enduring Sentinel, entitled Women's Scholarship Endowment, which receives $60 million annually, or the Young Women Lead, which gets about $5 million annually, is going to women who, by the way, if you read the Inspector General's report, is telling you that the Taliban does not allow women to speak in public. Yet somehow you're believing, and American people are supposed to believe, that this money is going for the betterment of the women in Afghanistan. It is not. You are funding terrorism, and it's coming through USAID. And it's not just Afghanistan, because Pakistan's right next door. USAID spent $840 million in the last 20 years on Pakistan's education-related program. It includes $136 million to build 120 schools, of which there is zero evidence that any of them were built. Why would there be any evidence? The Inspector General can't get in to see them. But you know what? We doubled down and spent $20 million from USAID to create educational television programs for children unable to attend the physical school. Yeah.
Those are the words of the U.S. lawmaker, Scott Perry, and this was an inquisition into the activities of USAID, and there's been some kind of a clampdown or so on that organization, that aid organization, since President Donald Trump got back into office. Tonight, I'm being joined by a former chair of the Committee on the Army in the Senate, and senator representing Borno State, one of the states that is hard hit by Boko Haram, and one senator that knows so much about the activities of this organization based on the impact on its communities and the communities within its senatorial district. Senator Ali Ndume is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Senator, these are heavy allegations, perhaps not verifiable at the moment because they're not coming from sources from the American government directly or the agencies of American government, but these allegations coming from a United States congressman, a lawmaker in the United States. How worried are you about those information, especially because Boko Haram as an organization is being mentioned in all of this inquisition?
This development is, as you said, is very worrisome, especially because one of the organizations, the terrorist organization mentioned by Scott Perry, is Boko Haram. And Boko Haram has ravaged not only the northeast, but even Nigeria. You can remember Boko Haram bombed the police headquarters and the UN office in Abuja here. And the casualties is enormous. So Nigerian government must be interested, and I'm worried. But the Nigerian security agencies have raised this indirectly several times. And even the Borno State government was wary of the operations of the NGOs. And I remember during the period of Buratai, Nigerian Army got intelligence and even raided at one time the office of United USAID or United Nations in Maiduguri. You remember that? And there was a time also the governor, got intelligence and raided into one NGO that were training or providing training to some of their staff on how to use guns. And we have been wondering for all these years, where are these people getting this money that they do, besides the raid and the kidnapping that they do? And it's worrisome. And now that the United States congressman came out, Scott Perry, to speak about this, you can't say it's just an allegation. It's more than that. And that's why Nigerian government and the National Assembly especially needs to look into it to investigate and verify the veracity of such weighty, very weighty allegation. You remember what Boko Haram did. I wanted to give the public a remembrance of the figures that we lost. You know, Boko Haram killed several people, destroyed several properties, displaced many people, and then cut off the source of livelihood to most of our people. Statistically, they say it's about 50,000 people have lost their life, but I guess these are the figures that are accountable. But 2.5 million people or above have been displaced. Right now, we have up to 400,000 people from the Bay State, Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe displaced in Niger, Cameroon, and Chad, even now. And you know, more than 1 million children are out of school in the Northeast, especially the Bay State. The Bay State is Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. And you remember the case of the Chibok girls, 276 of them were abducted. And up to now, we did not find all of them. We find most of them, actually. And when you look at the figures, it's worrisome. Scott Perry said, at one time, they're spending $697 million, and that translates into over 1 trillion naira. And when you see the operations, the modus operandi of this Boko Haram, you begin to think they must be getting their supplies.
And you suspect that this could also be funds from USAID, but you cannot say authoritatively if
No, that is what Scott is doing now, and his subcommittee on Govt, that is Department of Government Efficiency. They started the inaugural hearing was on Thursday, that is the day before yesterday. What I'm saying is the Nigerian government should be interested.
How do you think the Nigerian government should tackle this or handle this?
Well, first thing is I'm planning to bring a motion on Tuesday, if allowed. a matter of urgent national importance to set up a strong committee so that our security agencies like the Office of the NSA, the DIA, the DSS will be involved, because that's part of their responsibility. It's not only internal security. And since the government now is the one investigating the USAID, I'm sure they will cooperate, or they will even be, I think, extend their investigation to find out from here where the action is as to the veracity of such weighty allegations.
Senator, and this comes so as though there are some kind of distrust in the good intention some of these organizations. I mean, aid funding from USAID and different international funding agency or organization have come to help vulnerable communities, people who are in need of help, scholarships and all whatnot across the globe. But when these kind of allegations come, there are those who will say maybe somehow some governments have used this as espionage on other governments or other countries of the world to advance the interests of their own country. Do you worry that this may also have a link or be some kind of espionage?
Well, as I said, it is only through investigation, thorough investigation, that you get to this level. But all I'm saying is that the security and welfare of Nigerian citizens is the responsibility of the government. It is not responsibility of any other government or any other country. So this issue of relying on aids from other countries is not even good for us, because Nigeria by now is supposed to be the one that is giving out aids, not the one receiving aids. So why don't we, I think this is like a wake-up call for all of us to stand up the government. We have everything. We have everything. The only problem is in the leadership. And I think we need to fix that one so that we'll tap into what we have and be contented with it. I remember that in those days, the foreigners are coming here to even teach in secondary school and even primary schools as expatriates. But now Nigerians are struggling to go outside the country and to be slaves, so to say. That is doing some dirty jobs in order to survive. And you see, even Nigerians are struggling to be what they are not. What I mean by that is that most of the Nigerians that you have that are opportune, or they call themselves elites, are not truly even Nigerians, because they are half Nigerians, like you.
I'm full-blood
No.
Nigerian.
You have 2 passports.
No, I don't. I have one.
No.
A green. I have green passport.
You are a resident in America. I know that.
You have diplomatic
I can
passport.
see you are shocked, you know.
No.
Many of you guys are like that.
No.
You hold 2 passports. Many government officers hold 2 passports.
Do you have a diplomatic passport?
I have a diplomatic passport, but I don't have any passport. I don't have any visa in it. I can ask my listener to bring it now. I don't have visa to anywhere. I'm a true full Nigerian, and that is how everybody is supposed to be. Let's make Nigeria work.
Senator,
so we don't need any aid.
And I agree, because I said this on this program yesterday, that Nigeria needs to be respected. I make reference to what Canada and the issue with the CDS and what the NSA said. And there might be some things that are not properly done that may have caused what happened with the CDS and his team that was supposed to travel to Canada. But the big question, as you mentioned, is the fact that we have got a lot that Nigerian need to rely on. But the big question here, the impact of what is being said, whether foolproof or not, the NSA's office, the presidency, apart from what you and your colleagues will be doing in the National Assembly, are there specifics into how this should be handled?
First of all, you brought about the CDS drama and how the NSA reacted or overreacted. In the first place, there's no doubt that that is a kind of disrespect to Nigeria. But you have to respect yourself first. If I were the CDS, on their invitation, they invited them. They should have written to them, inviting them. And it is that letter of invitation, I don't know whether they did that that they would have used to ask for visa. And it should be clear. If they don't get the visa, they don't go. And I'm happy the CDS is not worried about it. But if you don't respect yourself that much, this is what happens. I can't imagine it. How can the CDS of Nigeria, a country that is known and the most populous and ranked top, and we have been contributing to international engagements, denied visa, and what they wanted to do was to go and attend the whatever of
in honor of the fallen heroes,
that is
fallen
so
soldiers.
I can understand why the NSA was very angry. But for me, as I said, let's be Nigerians. I don't go anywhere, and I'm a senator. For the past 15, 20 years, I've been in the National Assembly. I don't go anywhere. I don't need to go anywhere. Nigeria is my country. We have everything. We don't need to embarrass ourselves.
Let me ask you, Senator, what are your people telling you? I see pictures of you with the local communities. And some of the reports that we get on the ground as to the veracity or of foreign influence or backing or funding of this terrorist organization on Nigerian soil. What do the locals tell you as to some of the scraps of information that we could gather?
And that's why I said we were suspicious even before now. The CDS, the COAS, the Chief of Air Staff, all of them have served in one time in the theater, what they call it the theater, that is in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, which is the epitome of Boko Haram. And they have been suspicious about the activities of the NGOs in those states. Because if you see even their vehicle, they will draw AK-47 and cross it, that there's no gun. But they go to people with gun. And then they go unsupervised. They don't want to account to the state governor. They don't want to account to anybody. I understand they don't even account to ministry here in the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian, where they are supposed to be working together jointly and reporting. So we have been suspicious of their activities, even though we needed that help. But then not at the expense of the security of our people. As I told you, the statistics we have is that over 50,000 people have been killed. Over 2.5 million people have been displaced. And right now, as I'm speaking to you, we have refugees, Nigerian refugees, in Niger, Chad, and Cameroon for 10 years. And this thing continues unabated. In fact, recently, when I went home, they killed, I think, 6 people as a result of the use of EIDs. They told me that these people came with new Toyota Hilux, and this they call it Samsara, or that, and that are not common here in Nigeria. They have new AK-47, and as I told you, at one time, you see Boko Haram with AK-49 and brand new rifles. And they don't have airport. They don't have a seaport. Why you think that is being smuggled through the... So the activities are actually something that the Nigerian government needs to be interested, especially with this revolution.
So the question here
investigate.
Is, if there are no funding heavily from external forces or internal forces, you don't think that Boko Haram would have festered for this long?
Yeah. And besides, not only that, even if they don't have funding, our own security agencies must be properly funded.
To be able
and
to
they are
counter
spending,
them.
yes, and their spending or budget allocation should not be discretionary. It should be something that if you budget 1 million for the army and you release the money, if you cannot release the 1 million naira at go, you have to release it maybe twice, 500,000. That's the example. As I did now, if they have 4 trillion, security is very important. Give the security agencies, Nigerian Army, Air Force, Police, SS, and all the security agencies, give them their money at a go. And that is what is killing their job. And the money should be enough for them to work. I hear Mr. President giving them that reason that they have to get rid of this in 1 year. You can't get rid of it in 1 year without giving them the money.
But let me ask you, why do you think that these dissidents, these terrorists are still operating?
Because they have money.
Several years later?
Yeah, because they believe in what they are doing and they have been funded, as you said. If they don't have the funds, if they don't have, when the Nigerian army, what they did last 2 years, and that's why it went down, is that they tried to block the supplies. That's why they have to come and be scavenging. In these days, in my local government, even, you know, when people go to their farms on their bicycles, they have to gather them in one place and have the security, you know, guarding the bicycles. When they finish with their farms, they come to one location to pick their bicycles to come back home. They steal bicycles. They steal food.
But there are no, in Borno State, for example, in your senatorial district, Boko Haram is not holding any territory.
No, not to say, but they
go and come back.
Yeah, what they do is hit and run, and in fact, they have their own route that is known. We have 3 black spots: the Sambisa, the Lake Chad area, and of course the Mandara Mountains. Boko Haram is that; those are the 3 black spots, and their number have gone down. Their level of attack has gone down. But these days, I'm worried, and that is because the Chadian government and the Niger government have sacked virtually, to say, Boko Haram, except for those that are coming from Mali, Burkina Faso, and so. But in those their areas bordering Nigeria, they make sure they push them out, and that is the result of us having problem in Northwest now, the Lakura, what did they call them?
The Lakurawa.
The Lakurawa. You understand? And in Borno, those that are in the Lake Chad fringes, and thank God, you know what? Just a few days or 3 days ago, they are fighting themselves. The ISWAP and Boko Haram are fighting. In one of their encounter, I understand they lost casualties, a lot of casualties.
On both sides? On
both sides. And so when the Nigerian army took advantage of that also, you know, to go after them, I believe strongly that if the Nigerian army or the Nigerian security agencies are well funded, especially with this team now, Christopher, Abubakar, and Olorere. These are people that know that terrain, know what it takes.
There have been a lot of efforts by leaders within the region, and I'm wondering, are these efforts really yielding results? I'm talking about northern leaders, religious leaders, political leaders. Is there truth in the effort in quenching or ending permanently this scourge that is affecting the local communities?
Nobody wants insecurity. The elders have been talking, the elders have been supportive, but that's the best they can do. These people are out there, they don't listen to elders. In fact, they kill elders. Some of them kill even their parents.
And they're still using innocent citizens in the state, isn't it? They're still converting them for Boko Haram purposes.
Well, for that one, we have small incidences of even the repentant Boko Haram going back again. We have those incidences. But normally, the funding has gone down and the supplies have cut off, but even now they still infiltrate the people. I think they recruit more of informants than the foot soldiers now. Their number is going down. Not many people, unlike before when they had a lot of money, they come and rob banks and all that. That time they normally incise people, and as time goes, people understand the public is doing its best in trying to educate the youths and discourage them, and they have seen that this life of being in the bush for all this time without integrating into your society will not help. But as I said, the key is fund Nigerian army.
So on a final note, Senator, you look at it, and I'm wondering, those who are funding terror, the government has said it that they will name names. of those who are funding
why
terror.
they don't name, and that is my particular concern. You know, when Scott Perry mentioned that, I remember that at one time there was a list.
Yeah. Under the Buhari government, when Lai Mohammed said there are lists of those who are funding terror in Nigeria, do you know some of these people who are funding them, Senator?
I don't know.
They said they are very influential people.
So, but then
to what end are they doing that?
I don't know. But and I don't even understand why are they doing that kind of thing. But the most important is that at one time it was mentioned that they even arrested. I think it was this Beirut Change people that are involved in funding terrorism. Why are they getting the money? Nobody said anything, and that was it. You know, and even those that were arrested, you just hear the arrest and to some extent parade them, and that's it. I mean, I think we should be more serious than that in terms of addressing. And our security agencies, I interact a lot with them. They are even frustrated.
The Borno model, are you in support of it?
Which one?
How to cut off the local recruitment into Boko Haram.
Yes.
Are you in support of the Borno model? The involvement of governors in how you can douse...
Of course, what my governor or that of Borno said, and in fact even that of Yobe and the Bay States, they are doing their best in terms of, because they are, of course, they are the chief security officers, but as you can see, they involve the locals, the hunters, and then they do a lot of empowerment, engagement with the youth. But as I said, the remaining balance is to get rid of the Boko Haram in wherever they are, especially the 3 black spots. And what you need to do, and the Lakuras there, is what you need to do is to fund the Nigerian army. It's team.
Yeah.
Team, training, equipment, ammunition, and motivation. Let me tell you what. And a private soldier from Port Harcourt, from Bayelsa, you take him to Borno or Goza and pay him 50,000 naira. And then you pay him 1,500 naira as a daily distance for his food. 1,500 naira. How do you expect them? Senator, and they don't have the number.
Senator, for some, I mean, the Boko Haram activities, and this is a final note and quickly too, for someone that has personally felt the pain these activities of Boko Haram, of course, you don't forget that you have once been accused of activities of Boko Haram, you were being tried. And I want to speak as though President Tinubu is hearing you tonight. What is coming from the United States about this issue of funding? If you had to tell the president one truth about this issue of Boko Haram and how to end it, what would it be?
If I have the right approach, I will be on my own. You know what I mean by that? Nigeria has all it takes not to go and kneel down or to take a pan to beg anybody. Let us face our problem. Let us be efficient. Let us provide the good leadership. In fact, left to me, the president, learning from Donald Trump, should have a department of doggy too in the SGS office. There should be Department of Government Efficiency. You know why? The problem of this government is not Tinubu. The problem of the government is inefficiency. We have a budget and he signed on to it last year. Only 30%, that is even if they achieve that, are being implemented. He brought an ambitious budget now of 54 trillion. And we are in February already. If they cannot implement 37 trillion in 12 months, how can they implement 54 trillion in 1 year? Going by that means that it will take 2 years for them to implement this budget.
Thank you so much. Senator Ali Ndume, Senator representing Borno North in the National Assembly. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.